to 33. And the heading in my Bible says Jesus walks on the water. Immediately he made the disciples get into the boat and go before him to the other side, while he dismissed the crowd. And after he had dismissed the crowds, he went up on the mountain by himself to pray. When everything came, he was there alone. But the boat by the time was a long way from the land, beaten by the waves, for the wind was against them. And in the fourth watch of the night he came to them, walking on the sea. But when the disciples saw him on the sea, they were terrified and said, "It is a ghost." And they cried out in fear. But immediately Jesus spoke to them, saying, "Take heart, it is I. Do not be afraid." And Peter answered him, "Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water." He said, "Come." So Peter got out of the boat and walked on the water and came to Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried out, "Lord, save me." Jesus immediately reached out his hand and took hold of him, saying to him, "Oh, you of little faith, why do you doubt?" And when they got into the boat, the wind ceased, and those in the boat worshipped him, saying, "Truly you are the Son of God." Thus far the reading of the word of the Lord. This morning I want to speak to you about the theme, leap of faith. And the verse of reflection is verse 29, which says, "Then Peter got down out of the boat, walked on the water, and came to Jesus." There's a question that arose from this scripture. Have you ever felt you are called to step into something bigger than yourself? Something that feels risky, something that feels uncomfortable, or even impossible. And that's what we call a leap of faith. When you trust God enough to step out into the unknown, believing that He will help you. And throughout these past 2 days, and in particular yesterday, whenever it comes to the bedieningsfonds, we speak about having faith in the bedieningsfonds, having faith that the shortfall will somehow be met, so that things like increases, bonuses, and all those kind of things would be possible. It immediately, when I reflected, reminded me of Warren Ferris's old Year's Eve message. And his theme was, you need to have supernatural faith in a supernatural God. And that is stepping out of your comfort zone, that's stepping out of the ordinary faith of, yes, we can do it. And when you think about our deliberation, we were talking about how we will be able to circumvent this shortfall. And I can't remember any of us saying, again, let's take a leap of faith where the bedieningsfonds is concerned. And that doesn't only apply to the bedieningsfonds, but it applies to our everyday life as Christians. It applies to our calling, not only as ministers, but of leaders in the faith community as well. In Matthew 4:40, we find Peter literally stepping out of the boat amidst the storm and the rising water around him. And the moment he took his eyes off the one that gave him the instruction, come to me, and he became aware of everything else around him, he started sinking. Our focus is on everything else, but on Jesus that says, come to me, I have called you, I will strengthen you, I will give you the ability to do supernatural things because I'm a supernatural God. And therefore, you will be able to take that leap of faith. The disciples were in the middle of the lake, and a storm had come. They were afraid. We are afraid. Even though we follow Jesus Christ. Even though the disciples followed Jesus Christ. It is a natural thing for us to be doubtful. Doubt creeps in when we are not 100% sure. But this is where Jesus says to us this morning, take that leap, stay focused on me. Look, my hand is outstretched towards you. Take hold of my hand, and I will navigate you through these storms, through these impossible situations that we find ourselves in at many a times. Our leap of faith might not come in the perfect conditions that we hope it to come. But in the middle of those conditions, in the middle of the storms, there Jesus is. And sometimes we forget about it. Sometimes we rely on our power, on me, on my ability, and we forget that the one that called us first and foremost is the one that will strengthen us and the one that will give us the ability to walk on the water, to navigate the storms, and to come out on the other side victorious. Faith begins by hearing the voice of Jesus. When Peter heard the voice of Jesus, he said, Lord, I want to come to you. And Jesus said, come to me. And climbed out of the boat because he heard it was Jesus. A leap of faith starts by listening to God's voice. When he says, come, you can trust him. No matter how deep the water looks or you think it is. No matter how impossible our beginnings forms or our situation in our congregations, the dwindling numbers in our organizations, how difficult it might look and seem, that is where our faith needs to save us, needs to take us that one step higher, closer to Christ, because he is the one that can remove the doubt and the unbelief that we have. In the beginning of the Bible, when God created heaven and earth, this miraculous God had the power to create heaven and earth. And throughout the Bible, from the beginning to the end of the Bible, God performs miraculous deeds to prove that he is the one that controls everything. He has the power to change it if we just take that leap of faith in him. He will ensure us that we will come out on the other side. In conclusion, taking a leap of faith doesn't mean you'll never be afraid. trusting God even when you are afraid. So today we need to ask ourselves 3 points. Is God calling you to step out of the boat? Are you willing to trust Him with the unknown? Will you focus on His voice rather than the storm? Faith doesn't eliminate fear. It overcomes it. And when you live in faith, Jesus will always be there to catch you. He is your Savior.